Hey there guys, hey, it's good to be back with you once again, and we're going back to play our favorite game, Team USA Basketball on the Sega Genesis. Now, I wanted to, as usual, do like some sort of fancy introduction or show you clips and stuff, but we're playing Australia today, and the United States never actually did play Australia in 1992. Australia was at the tournament, so at least EA got that part right, but never really played against the United States. So we're going to go ahead and just slip ourselves over here. I'm going to go push the magic button. That'll load the save state, and we're going to go ahead and get going. Thank you once again for everybody who has provided the helpful feedback on this game as we continue to try to learn how to actually play this in a successful manner. Yeah, what we're hoping for here is to actually make it to the knockout round. We'll see if we can actually do that. Talk about the outback, talk about the Dutch explorers arriving, the British founding a colony in South Wales. I actually have a really good friend of mine who lives over in Australia. I haven't talked with her though for many years. I should probably get back to her and sort of see what's going on. But we're not going to worry about that so much right now. We're going to worry a little bit more about Australia and timing this tip right. And we actually want a tip. How about that? So there you have it. We pass it up here. They were telling me that you can work sort of the floor a little bit if you work vertically like that. So that's going to be sort of what we try to do. The other thing that they tell me is that you want to sort of stick with your guy to try to get that shooting percentage down. It didn't work there. Lots and lots of advice, and I do thank you for the advice. I'm still looking for advice that actually works. So we'll see. There we go. That's what we need to be doing. We need to find those spots on the floor. Again, as I've said before, one of the strangest things about this game is, and I think the other early EA sports titles, is that they had this set up so that like superstars had like magic spots on the floor or whatever. And so most of the game, what you're doing is you're actually going around trying to find these magic spots on the floor that happen to be like, I don't know, right around here somewhere maybe or something like that. Yeah, there you go. So who knows? Hey, maybe we'll start playing this game really well, and then I have to change my opinion of it, and I have to tell everybody how great it is. So that was Charles Barkley with that free throw line dunk. So you know, hey, maybe we're gonna do okay from now on. The other problem I have, this is also a problem with like Tecmo NBA basketball on the NES, is that there are times where I literally cannot see where the ball is. Okay, what was that? What was it? You ever see that happen in real life? I mean, what kind of voodoo is this? Anyway, I was going to say there are times, especially down underneath, where I can't see where the ball is because it's the same color as the floor and also as some of the players' haircuts, right? So it's actually a good thing I'm not in the game. Of course, if you're looking at my hair, which you can't see right now, thankfully, but you would think that I have the same hair color as this ball as well, which would be a problem. We should all go Michael Jordan style, right? Anyway, these teams are hot. So speaking of teams shooting hot, have you ever watched that, I remember that famous 184-182 Nuggets Pistons game from 1983? Right, that's sort of what this one is like, right? Everybody's like shooting, nobody can miss. So is that guy who I just had, I guess that's supposed to be Barkley, right? And there's Jordan with the superstar move. The thing about these old EA basketball games that everybody in the world of video game journalism loved was the fact that they could have you do these superstar type moves. But as I play these games, I realize that the game is mostly about the superstar move, and it doesn't really feel like a basketball game. But it's funny, if you go read, let's say you're going to read, I don't know, like GamePro or something, and you go read about like this game, and then you read about Tecmo NBA basketball on the Genesis, you would think that Tecmo was an awful game and that this game was the best game ever made. In fact, I think that GamePro or EJM, one of them, or maybe Video Games, one of those magazines actually gave this game not only a higher rating than that, I think one of those games gave this game a perfect rating. Not this game, but like either Bulls versus Blazers or Bulls versus Lakers, one of them. In essence, these games are all the same. All three of those games came out in 1992. The gameplay is exactly the same. The only one that's really different, I suppose, is NBA Showdown, and that's just because the game actually is a little bit faster as EA started to learn how to actually program games for the Genesis. So this is probably the best I've ever played this game. You can go back and watch the other videos if you need a witness of that. Anyway, so it's the game of let me go over to the free throw line, and then I do this magical move where I sort of jump past everybody, put the ball behind my back 3 times, and then we make it. This game's a lot like Harlem Globetrotters on NES. You guys remember that one? And that's the other question I have for you. You guys want to see me play that game? Because I'll play Harlem Globetrotters if you want. I'll only do it once. I don't think that I'll ever want to play that one again. Anyway, so now that we've got stuff figured out and I can stop complaining about this game, I'll tell you sort of about what's happening here on the channel, what to expect next and all that stuff. The video that we just came out with, what was the video we just came out with on this channel? It must have been a video that was, well, let me see if I can remember what it was. So I didn't pick up my dribble there. So in earlier games in this series, like you can be charged for traveling if you pick up your dribble and then try to dribble it again. Apparently in this one you can't. You can just do whatever you want. I don't know. I don't understand it. That's right. So the thing about the video on this channel, the reason why I can't think of what the most recent one is because I haven't come out with it yet. Today, after this, obviously, after this video comes out, I'm going to come out with a video that I actually need to edit right now. It's already filmed. We're going to be talking about the scandal back in 1951 in college, the point shaving scandal. And some other thoughts about sort of the gambling industry and basketball and stuff like that. So look forward to that. It should be hopefully a good video. We'll see. We'll see if the community enjoys it or not. It's one of those videos where I'm not sure what to do in terms of like the thumbnail because like you're not going to find color pictures from that time. You can find like maybe newspaper headlines or something. Maybe that's like the best bet. I don't know. Like it's hard to know. It's hard to know what to do for a headline, you know, or for a thumbnail for a video like that, which is probably one of the reasons why. Okay, please, can I like choose somebody else to pass the ball to? All right, so that definitely is not Patrick Ewing's like secret spot. Anyway, so you can look forward to that video coming out. I would have had it done a little bit earlier, but I spent quite a bit of time yesterday actually trying to figure out what today's video was going to be. There were probably like 3 or so different ideas I had. For a little while I was thinking about doing a video about Isaiah Thomas not playing for the Dream Team and you know 1980 not having an Olympics to play at and stuff like that. I don't know, we could do that maybe in the future, I guess. I just wasn't quite feeling it this time around. There is a lot of, I think, you know, stuff going on there. I'm not so sure though that it's necessarily the best topic in the world. We could talk about other stuff in future, like historic videos, things like, you know, Len Bias and stuff like that. So I'm thinking, I've mentioned this before, using the Hoops tabletop game. I'm planning on doing a replay of the 1986-87 season. I've got all of the information that I need. I have a whole bunch of like articles and stuff. I've got the NBA guide from that year. I've got the Streets and Smith guide from that year. Everything is basically sort of set up so that we can get this started. I just need to actually get it started. This is the most awkward screen system I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, look for that coming here eventually, though it's taken me a lot longer to really get that project started than I wanted to. But the interesting thing is I was doing research on the very first game, which will be the Washington Bullets at the Boston Celtics. And the Bullets, of course, had just drafted this guy named Hot Rod Williams, who some of you may kind of know about. Now, what was he most famous for? He was most famous for not being able to like pass his classes in school and for having like an extremely low like SAT score and stuff like that. It's all awful, awful stuff. Somebody told me he always made it after he said shoot it, and look at that, we missed it. Anyway, it's all right, I won't hold it against you. So again, nobody's really got the lead. We have 3 players with 8 points each, but because we've figured out this trick, now we're shooting 81%. Australia shooting 83%. Is this a good thing? Is this an indication that this is a great game? Probably not. Alright, so we're going to make a substitution here. I think we'll make a substitution there. Somebody was complaining about this and saying who put together these lineups and stuff like that, so I don't know. I just think that this substitution screen is really, really confusing. You couldn't probably have made a more confusing substitution screen if you had tried. Anyway. There we go. Yeah, everybody's sweet spot is like right up around here. So there you have it. Whatever. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to do a little bit more like that. I'll probably have a video talking about Hot Rod Williams. I was reading about him in an old issue of the Sporting News from 1986, which was very interesting. And there are a couple of other things that I've wanted to talk about as well. For example, there are some interesting things to mention in terms of racism in basketball, especially in the 80s. For a different project, I was reading a Sporting News issue from 1981. And I read all about how they were saying there were letters to the editor in the Sporting News talking about how there were too many black players in the NBA, and that was the real problem with the sport. So some pretty ugly stuff that people were saying back in those days that we've kind of forgotten about. I know that there are people who talk a lot about how there's too many politics in the NBA these days and stuff like that, but like the truth is that if you go back far enough, you'll notice that there actually was a lot of like really ugly politics going on. So what I want to do is I want to go down here and I want to try to get this guy off of me, at least sort of, but instead I end up not being able to do anything. At least we haven't had a whole bunch of fouls this game, so that's been a little bit different. And so, see, because Michael Jordan was not in the paint, then he can't actually do any sort of super moves other than stealing the ball by just going up to the guy and pushing the button. Now, the crazy thing is to do that dunk, you have to move backwards to go forward to dunk it, whatever. Anyway, so like I said, there's a lot of different topics and stuff that we can look into doing, we can talk about and stuff like that in future videos. I do want to keep doing sort of historic videos. It's always hard to do because they don't necessarily perform the best. At the same time, I suspect that the reason why they don't perform the best is because I haven't done enough of them. I do know that YouTube, when you're able to like define kind of what kind of videos you make, YouTube will find your audience for you. So, I mean, one thing's for sure on this channel, like playing a bunch of games and stuff is fun and I'm going to keep doing this, but I don't want this to be like the only thing that I do here. There's a lot of other interesting stuff that we can do that would also be worth our time. So there you have it. How did he miss that? How do you miss a dunk like that? So I'm trying to jump over to the guy and I end up jumping away from him. That's a great basketball move, right? The ball's over here. I'm going to go jump in the other direction. Anyway, there's other historical things I've been thinking about doing as well. So for example, I came very close to doing this yesterday, but I figured there probably wasn't enough time to do the research I wanted to. Like, my dad grew up in Phoenix in the 1970s, and so he remembers being like, a teenager during the, there's John Stockton. He remembers being a teenager during the 76 Suns run and all of that stuff, which a lot of people don't really remember that much. anyway, I was thinking of like doing a video contrasting that with kind of what I remember from the Utah Jazz run in 1997 and 1998. Actually fairly similar, except that the Jazz didn't have a crazy triple overtime game that's like one of the greatest games in NBA history. The Suns did. I remember when the Suns had that game against the Bulls in the finals in, what was it, 93, I want to say? I remember watching that game and being absolutely amazed by it. But it's not something that happened to the Jazz, though. I have a lot of stories, by the way, about the NBA Finals and sort of like the way that I experienced them and stuff that some people know about, but I haven't, talked about on this channel yet. So, there's a lot of stuff that, I can sort of pull out of the woodwork, and we can kind of, talk about and put down and stuff like that. I don't know. If you have any ideas for topics, you can always sort of let me know what it is that you're interested in or whatever, and we'll get to that as well. We do want to continue doing sort of reviews of games and stuff like that, but I did want to make sure that this channel wasn't just turning into me, dissing down Ultimate Basketball on the NES or whatever, like over and over again. We want to have a couple of other things as well. So anyway. All right, we probably shouldn't do that. We probably should go for those high percentage, like superstar shots or whatever they're called. Larry Bird has not made a single three-pointer for us. But what's going on? We have all these guys underneath and nobody can get a rebound? There's Stockton with that spin move, so it's all right. It's all right. Anyway, most of you guys, I think, have probably figured out sort of what the... oh, jeez. Why are you running away from him, man? Stick with him. Stick with him. You don't need to run away from him. He's not scary. He won't bite. I was going to say, a lot of you guys have probably figured out, kind of the general, plan and strategy on the channel and stuff like that. So I've been doing these games every other day, and then when I don't do these games, I've been going back to like NBA Jam. When NBA Jam is done, maybe we'll do another NBA Jam project. Like I said, it'd be fun to do Kerry Hopkins and, see if we can learn more about the wonders of NBA Jam from our beloved Queen. Or I don't know, maybe we could do something else. We could do some NBA Hang Time or something like that. Or we could do Showtime or something. I don't know. There's all sorts of games we could do. I think that Stockton put like a really nice looking move out there, and we couldn't see it because he was blocked by his own player. Anyway, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do on defense. Anything that I try here doesn't really work. It's just totally random. Wow. There you go. There's another dunk for Jordan. Say, hey, once we figured out how to play this game, now all of a sudden we can win like all the time. Is this a better game now that I figured out how to play it? No. This is actually a really crappy game. But at least then we know how to win. On my soccer channel, I was just playing Mega Man Soccer. And this game reminds me a lot of that. So in that game, you're not going to make any shots if you shoot from like really close up. You have to move backwards, which is just like this game. Anyway, there you go. We win. I think that means that we've won enough to go to the knockout round. Hopefully. Jordan with 16 points, of course, the GOAT. 14 from Malone. I forgot Malone was in there. He's probably the one I was always wondering, who is this guy? 8 for Barkley. 3 rebounds for Robinson, and we shot just under 70%. They shot 65%. And I'm guessing, is that Luke Longley? Is that right? Longley was 16, and then a bunch of other guys. Apologies, though, if you are from Australia. I do apologize for not being up on the trivia. We go play Slovenia next time. I'm pretty sure Slovenia was actually in the Olympics in '92. I don't remember. I'll look that up before the next video and see, of course, if the United States actually played them. And as I said last time, I have no idea what this screen is supposed to be for, because we see this screen again, you know, before we play our next game. So anyway, there you have it. That's the wonders of Team USA basketball. Like I said, I feel like I know how to play the game now. Is it a good game? No, it is not. Do I recommend this game? I do not recommend this game. I recommend that you stay away from it. Anyway, there you have it. I will talk with you again today, at least one more time, because I'm going to have this full-length video out. I wanted it out like early this morning. It's almost like 12 hours after I originally intended, and that's the spirit. That's the way that we do things here. Very professional, isn't it? Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.